Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Sunday Scaries with Charity Kristen. It's been a while since I've gotten to chat with you guys, and I feel like a lot has changed in this short little month. One, I turned 25. Two, I think the frontal lobe is starting to develop. Like, I've had some changes take place, and it's been kind of weird. It's been nice, but kind of weird. During this episode, I just kind of wanted to go over 25 things that I learned by 25. Just because I feel like the older I get, I don't know, all of these little things, I'm like, I already knew, but now I'm kind of starting to understand. Like, it'll make more sense as I dive in. But here are 25 things that I learned by 25. So the first one, this is probably my biggest one, not everyone is your friend. And this one probably hurts the most too, just because, you know, when you find out that somebody's not your friend, you're just like, damn, like, ouch, literally right in the heart. And it's always at the worst time. Like, I'm not going to go into any details, but like, it always happens around like a big event, like if something good is happening for you, or like me, your birthday, you just realize that people are not down for you like you are for them. And that's okay. And you just kind of have to accept it and move on. The next thing that I learned, there's a difference between people pleasing and being a doormat. And I'm still working on this one. This one's been a struggle throughout my life, but I think I'm finally starting to at least begin to understand. And this goes back in with the not everyone is your friend. Of course, me being me, I'm like, I want to treat people the way that I want to be treated, friend or not. But of course, I live my life in a constant state of delusion, and I think everybody is my friend. Everybody that's nice to me, I'm like, they like me, they're my friend. No, they're just tolerating you. But you don't have to do everything for everybody, especially those that won't do the same for you. You can set boundaries. You can say no. You don't always have to be a yes man. And I need to learn how to practice what I preach, but I'm starting to finally understand that. And one day I'll get it. And when I do, I will come back and let y'all know. But at least I'm finally getting the idea in my head. I'm going to execute it soon. Probably not today, but soon. The next thing, frontal lobe, she's developing. I feel like I am changing. Like, I even feel like things that I liked a month ago, I don't like now. Like, being out until like 5, 6 in the morning, that sounds like hell on earth to me today. And I just did that not even 3 weeks ago with no problem. Situationships, being around a million people that could care less about you. There's all of these different things and ideas. Like, I'm like, I need to expand my credit history. I need to build my credit report. I'm like, why am I thinking about this? And I'm like, oh, I'm 25. It's time to start thinking about these things. So I started doing some research on the frontal lobe, and apparently women's frontal lobes develop at 25, and then men's develop a little bit later, which makes sense because men don't really think. But yeah, my whole mentality, like when it comes to life, is just really changing. And it's really cool, but it's also kind of scary because like, I just feel like it's just been like a little switch. Like, I don't even know how to describe it other than that. Like, Labor Day weekend, last year, 24-year-old me would have been like, yes, we're outside. Like, where are we going? What's the move? Guess what I did for Labor Day, y'all? Nothing. I rotted in bed and I watched Love Island USA. That's quite literally all I did. And I ate cheese. I didn't even drink any alcohol. I literally just ate cheese and drank apple juice and laid in bed watching Love Island. And I wouldn't rather have it any other way. Like, that was the best Labor Day weekend I've ever had, to be honest. Next thing that I learned, my time and effort is valuable, and anybody that can't see that doesn't deserve to be in my life. And of course, me being me, I feel like I'm a very self-deprecating person, and I need to stop because, again, like, I'm valuable just like anybody else is. My time is valuable. And if I'm putting in the effort to be in somebody's life or do something for somebody, they should do the same for me. And I shouldn't make any exceptions for those who don't. And the older that I get, the more I finally start to understand that. Like, I look back and see how people treated me before that I called friends, and I'm just like, again, that was not my friend, going back to number one. I think I'm just having like all of these little realizations in my head, just playing back everything that I've been through with people that have treated me wrong, or just like, and it's also my fault because I let them do that. I'm not even trying to play victim here, because you literally, how people treat you is completely up to you. Like, that's what you tolerate. And I tolerated way too much. And now I'm just like, we're done. You're done. We're not doing that anymore. Next thing I learned, discipline is actually becoming a lot easier as I get older. I go to the gym almost every day. I do some type of workout class. I go to Pilates. I go to yoga. I'm trying to try new things. So I'm doing a spin class on Wednesday, and I'm terrified. But I lift. Just getting up every day and going to class, or going to work out, or going to the gym, or just even going on a walk outside. That's discipline. And a lot of people don't have that discipline, I'm realizing. But I feel like the older that I get, I'm learning that it's a privilege to be able to move my body. And since I can do that right now, I need to do that for, 60-year-old me, because I'm definitely not going to be able to move the same as I do now. But then again, I don't know, maybe I can. I went to my dad's house the other day. My dad is 69 years old, mind you. Better shape than I am. This man just did 100 push-ups right in front of my face, like, no issue. I was out of breath just watching him. He's in better shape than I am. So who knows? Maybe I'll be in better shape when I'm almost 70 if I keep moving the way I do now. That's the goal, because I can't do 100 push-ups today, but maybe 69-year-old me will be able to do it. And you are who you hang out with, excuse me. But yeah, if you hang out with a bunch of creative people, that's going to inspire you to create. That's been my life lately. That's really who I've been spending a lot of my time with, and it's been great. Versus if you hang out with people to just sit around, do nothing, smoke, drink, and don't get this wrong. I don't mind those things at all, but like, where's your drive? Like, what's your purpose? What do you want out of this life? Like, I just want to be able to have a conversation like that with those people that I hang around with. And I've learned that being around people that can't have that type of conversation are people that I don't need to be around, because I'm trying to elevate in this life. I'm trying to create. I'm trying to do things that make me happy, because at the end of the day, it's my life and I need to live my life. And you are who you hang out with, point blank, period. Like, I hang around people that work out. That inspires me to go work out, because I'm like, you look good. I'm trying to look like that. Let me go work out. It's just simple. And it's so true. Like, people are just like, oh no, I'm my own person. Like, nobody's going to influence me. And while, yes, that can be true, you're also hanging around all of these people that are just the complete opposite of what you want in this life, what you're currently looking for. So what's the point? I don't even know if that makes sense, but that's just how I'm kind of feeling about it right now. But yeah. And this goes into the next one. What you put into your body is important. So this goes food, drinking, people, but yeah, so you just have to, the older I get, I'm just becoming more mindful when it comes to whatever I put in my body. Like, I started eating more organic, and whenever I go back to eating like unhealthy fast food, like, I'm obsessed with Taco Bell, but I don't know what happened when I turned 25. I'm terrified of this right now. I haven't craved Taco Bell since I turned 25, and I really don't like that, because I used to eat an unhealthy amount of Taco Bell. Like, I should be a Taco Bell taco with how much Taco Bell I consume, but I'm not. But I don't know. Maybe it's because they took away the nacho fries. If the nacho fries come back, I might go back to my ways, but we'll see. But yeah, I've been drinking a lot more water. I've been drinking a lot less alcohol. Haven't really been drinking too much liquor, and I don't know what's going on here. It's weird. And of course, I'm not saying that I'm like, oh, I'm never drinking again. Oh, I'm never eating Taco Bell again. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just feel like we're just slowly having a little bit less of it and going more organic, more green, more fruits, more veggies. just thinking about future me and what my body needs and the nutrients that I need. But yeah, next thing I learned, being alone is being alone is better than being in a situationship. And take it from me, I was in a situationship on and off for about 3 years, and I recently just ended it a few months ago. And you can ask any of my friends. They've been waiting for me to end this situationship, and I'm finally starting to do it, you guys. I'm finally doing it. But that's another thing. It goes into the treat people the way that you want to be treated, and that backfires on you. That happened with me. And it sucked, but it was just a good lesson learned, and I can just move on now, I feel like. And I don't know, I'm a lot more disciplined now that I don't have that type of temptation or person in my life. And so I just feel like from here, I'm just like, no more situationships. Husband, please, thank you. Where are you? Please come find me. My mom told me based on my TikToks, like I'm sounding desperate. And I'm just like, at this point I am. Like the frontal lobe starting to develop. I'm pushing 30. Like, let's get a move on, because once I hit 30, I'm not going to care anymore, and that's just simply not going to happen. And I feel like I'm just going to have to be the rich aunt that just shows up to the family functions with the presents for the nieces and nephews, because I was unsuccessful in finding love. But you never know. We'll see. I just turned 25 a couple weeks ago, but I might have a little too much dip on my chip. But I'm just thinking now, like all of these thoughts are in my head now. Like I said, the frontal lobe is just like, you have 30 minutes. Don't you know you have 30 minutes? That's how I'm feeling right now. But another thing I learned, I need to put myself first. I'm really bad at this one. I'm terrible at this one. But again, like some of the other ones, the thought is engraved in my head. So I know what I need to do. I just actually need to execute it. But I am living my life for me. I need to put myself first. I need to stop people pleasing. I need to stop saying yes to everybody when I don't truly want to. And just move on. Like, and I don't know why that's so difficult for me. Does anybody else struggle with that? Because I do. Like, it is so hard for me to say no to people. It's really hard for me to be confrontational. I just don't like any type of drama or anything like that, which is how I ended up in half the situations that I've been in. And I feel like just saying no could have avoided a lot of that. But, you know, again, another lesson learned. So here we are. I'm just going to have a lot of wisdom for my future kid, I guess. But another thing that I learned, dive bars and fancy cocktail lounges are better than clubs. And I don't know, this one, a lot of people might not agree with, but you walk into a dive bar, they know you, you can have a conversation with whoever you're with, still listen to music, go in there, get a $3 beer, and just chill. Versus the club, like, you get a $20 drink, it's super loud, you have to like yell in somebody's ear to have a conversation. I don't know, the older that I get, this is just all me getting older. Like, I still love the club, don't get me wrong. Catch me in Barstool. Like, I don't know if y'all can see my shirt, but Barstool tonight? I might end up there tonight. But I love the club, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, just going to a local dive and just chilling and just having an ice cold beer, oh, chef's kiss. Like, I love it. Also, I really want to get everybody's opinions on this one. I'm starting to prefer beer over liquor. I know, crazy. Coming from me, I know, crazy. Because usually a tequila pineapple would hate to see me coming, but now a sour beer, I go to any bar, I'm just like, what sours do you guys have on draft? And I hated sour beer a year ago. So I don't know what's happening within me. I'm starting to like vodka a little more than tequila when I do drink liquor. It's weird. I don't know. But how do y'all feel? Like, do we like beer or liquor more? I feel like beer's a lot better. The hangovers aren't as bad. The bloat's worse, but the hangover isn't as bad. I'd rather be bloated than hungover. Like, I can just wear a big sweatshirt like this and get away with being bloated and wake up tomorrow feeling just fine and being able to go on with my day. Versus The hangovers that I get when I drink liquor last about 3 business days. Like, I'm down bad, y'all. Stomach hurts, head hurts. Like, the shakes are probably the worst part. I think I would rather have nausea for a month straight than 30 minutes with those shakes. Those shakes are the worst feeling. Like, you're just shivering and you're not even cold, but then the sweats come out. I wish I could verbally articulate how bad that is. Like, if I can avoid the shakes in any way possible, I will. And I'm at a point, if I do drink liquor, I have a glass of water in between each drink that I have. And then I also take electrolytes before, during, and after drinking. So that's how you know I'm getting old. Like, this is bad, y'all. Like, it's me in the club pouring my electrolytes. I'm like, do you have a bottle of water? Thank you. I went to the bar one time, and I asked for a straw and a glass of water so I could pour my electrolytes in it after I finished a flight of beer. And he didn't have a straw, so he gave me chopsticks. So I'm here mixing my electrolytes in this water with some chopsticks. It did the trick, but it's just me outside drinking with electrolytes. I'm like, I feel like I'm starting to look older than I actually am, which is kind of crazy. But moving on. Setting boundaries is hard, but necessary. And when I tell you it's so hard, like, it goes back into saying no to people. I'm not good at this at all. But again, the thought's in my head, so I know what I need to do. And I don't know. It just feels like you're disappointing people whenever you start to set boundaries. But it's also like, if you don't set those boundaries, you're disappointing yourself. So it's weird. Like, I wish I could describe, like, how nervous I get whenever I do have to set a boundary with somebody, because it's just like, I really don't like when you do this. That's how I come across. I'm like, or if they ask me a question and they're like, well, can you blah, 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 and I really want to say no. I'm just like, well, like, the hesitation is there, but they're waiting for me to flip and be like, well, yeah, it's okay. And I usually end up doing that, and that is my biggest downfall, and that's something that I really, really, really need to work on. I think I need to go back to therapy and talk about that, because I genuinely don't know how to fix that, but I know I need to. So, next thing, change is also really hard, but necessary. And it really depends on what's changing. Some things I embrace change, and sometimes it, like, terrifies me. Like, I started a new job about a year ago, and I was so ready to move on from my last job just because I was there for so long and that chapter of my life was ending. So I embraced my new job. I embraced that change with open arms. But, like, little things like, if, like, moving right now, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to move next, what I'm going to do. Like, that change is a little bit scary. Like, when I graduated college and went on to the real world, that change was terrifying, but it's so necessary in order to grow. And I feel like if you remain stagnant your whole life doing the same thing over and over again, you're not going to grow. And if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. So once I get to a point where I'm feeling too comfortable in whatever that I'm doing, I'm like, okay, we got to change it up. I need to do something different because I'm becoming stagnant. And I think that is worse than being uncomfortable. I'd rather be uncomfortable and knowing that I'm growing versus remaining stagnant and comfortable, and just not growing at all mentally, physically. Like, in the gym, it works the same way. Like, do I want to lift heavier? No. Do I need to? Yes. Do I want to grow my muscles? Yes. So I need to lift heavier. I need to try different fitness classes in order to stimulate whatever muscle that I'm trying to work on. Like Pilates, it works those little muscles that you don't think about, versus lifting that kind of bulks you a little bit. It's just depending on what you're doing in life, there's change everywhere, and you just kind of have to welcome it with open arms. My next one is a really big one for me, and I'm finally starting to actually, embrace this one. So, other people's opinions don't matter. And I was kind of ranting to my mom and my friend Devin this morning about it. I was just like, I've always wanted to start a podcast. I've always wanted to do content creation, but I was so worried about what other people would think. I was worried about what other people would say. I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, I'm doing something that makes me happy. I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. So why do other people's opinions matter? I don't know why. I do not know why I had that mentality. And I was so upset at myself this morning because I was just thinking about it. And I was like, I really could have started this a while ago. But I was so worried about what people would say about me or what people would think about me. And regardless, people are going to hate on whatever you do. There's jealous people everywhere. And it sucks. I started this podcast and people that I know have started to unfollow me on my socials out of nowhere. But, shit happens and I'm just doing what makes me happy. I like to yap, so here I am. Certified yapper. Thank you. And all of you haters, bye. I didn't want you here anyway. Next thing I learned, make time for self-reflection. I like to journal. This is where a lot of my self-reflection comes from. There's a lot of different journal prompts that you can do. You can look them up online. You can buy a self-reflection journal. There's so many different things that you can do. I like to go into like a quiet place outside. Like I like to go by the lake. If I'm traveling, I like to go over by the beach and write in my journal. I just like seeing where I'm at today versus a year ago. 2 years ago, 5 years ago, when I first started college, when I first started high school. Like I have all of my journals because I've always journaled really ever since middle school. And I still have all of those journals just to kind of see how I've evolved as a person. And it's kind of crazy reading back at my thoughts. Like 13-year-old me is obviously way different from 25-year-old me, but it's just really fascinating to see where my head was at back then versus today. But I feel like journaling and self-reflection is really necessary because that's another tool for growth. And this also goes into holding yourself accountable and remaining consistent and disciplined. So I don't want to write in my journal every single day, but do I? Yes. I just need to let these thoughts go. And it's also really healthy for you as well. That's another little word of advice I have. If you're ever feeling stressed, or you feel like you have nobody to go to, write about it, pray about it, just kind of like find an outlet to where all of those thoughts can just kind of, flow versus going to tell somebody, especially just going to tell somebody that probably doesn't care. I don't know. I'm not saying that people in your life don't care, but like me, I'm a very dramatic person. So like, certain things make me feel a certain type of way. And then whenever I go tell anybody about it, they're like, oh, well, did you think about it this way? And it's like, I didn't want feedback. I just wanted to rant. If you don't want feedback from a rant, just go write it down. And then it's cool when you go read it back later and you're like, oh, I was overreacting just a little bit. I have those moments all the time. But it's just nice to get all of those thoughts out on paper and just see months later how I've changed and evolved. And I'm just like, that was not even a big deal. And that's another thing I've learned. Most things are not that big of a deal. Like I'm here thinking that I'm just like, I'm doomed. Everything is like going to shit. Like we're done. And then a week later, I'm just like, oh, it's okay. I was just being dramatic. And again, I'm a Leo, so that's my excuse. Sorry, not sorry. Next, everyone won't like you, and that's okay. No matter how nice you are to people or whatever, not everybody's going to like you. You're not everybody's cup of tea. And that's fine. Or everybody's mug of White Claw. But that's okay. You're not here to please everybody on this planet Earth. You're just here to live your life. And that's another thing that I'm finally learning. Growing up, I feel like, this is going to sound very vain of me, and that's the last thing I'm trying to sound like. But growing up, everybody was like, everybody likes Charity, blah, blah, blah. So like in my head, I'm just like, I'm really nice to everybody. Like I love everybody. Like my name's Charity. My name means love. I'm like, I love everybody. Like I want everybody to love everybody. And that's just not how the world works, unfortunately. And that's okay. Like that's fine. The people that do love you are the people that you need to keep in your life. And I have a lot of people that do love me, and I love a lot of people. But there's a lot of people that don't love me or like me, and like I said to the haters from earlier, bye. Thank you. Y'all, this next one. Are your feelings hurt or is your ego hurt? And most of the time, I think it's my ego. I'm a very emotional person, yes, but again, I'm a Leo. So, like, my ego is like 6'3". So, most of the time, I don't think that my feelings are hurt. I really think it's just my ego, because it's like, whoa, did I really let that happen? Like, and then now, I can't even talk about this, but the older that I get, I choose different ways to react to certain situations. And again, I'm not confrontational at all. So if I don't say anything to you, my face will. And I think my face is what gets me in trouble. But you can just kind of tell by looking at me. I'm just like, ooh, that rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it bruised the ego just a little bit. So next time somebody hurts your feelings, I'm like, be like, are your feelings truly hurt, or is it your ego? Ask yourself that. Because I'm at a point where I start to ask myself that, and most of the time, it is my ego. I hate to say it, but it's so true. And then this kind of goes into the next one. You're responsible for your own happiness. Your happiness does not depend on another person, another thing, anything. That is all on you. Point blank, period. Simple. Do things that make you happy. Like, me personally, working out is what makes me happy. Like, that's actually my peace. Like, whenever I'm having a bad day, I'm irritated, I'm upset, after I move my body, I'm just like Zen mode, like namaste. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like everybody has that one thing that just makes their brain just turn off. And I feel like once you find that thing, that is like the key to happiness. And it's different for everybody, but you can't put the blame for the fact that you're not happy on anybody else other than yourself. Because again, this ties into literally everything that I've learned. This is your life. You have to live your own life. You're responsible for everything that goes on in your own life, and that includes yourself and your happiness. So, yeah. And then the next thing, gratitude. Gratitude is literally everything. I just see, I've done a little social media cleanse. So all of my social media is more like gratitude-based, fitness-based, creative-based, like anything that inspires me. Like, I like to wake up and scroll through my Instagram and feel inspired. Like, I follow people that inspire me and make me want to be better at what I do. Like, whether that's this podcast, like creating content, writing, fitness, or just simple day-to-day gratitude. Like, there are people out there that wish that they had your normal day. You need to romanticize your every single day. Like, you wake up every morning and you're able to go to work, you have running water, you have a roof over your head. Some people don't have that. And it actually breaks my heart to think about it, because it's just like, that's standard for us. It's just like, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that. So I've just started to appreciate the little things in life, like working out. Like, sometimes I don't want to, but I have the ability to move my body. Some people don't. I see so many TikToks of people that are just like paralyzed, and they're so happy with their life. They're just happy to be alive. And that goes into gratitude. Like, you just need to be grateful for what you have and romanticize your life, because things can change. Like, I don't know. Can't think of the metaphor right now, but you know what I'm trying to say. Things can change really quickly, but you just need to have gratitude for this very moment and what you have. And the next thing, dreams can come true. A lot of people are just like, you're being unrealistic, like, that's a far-fetched dream, blah, 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 blah. Like, I remember a couple years ago, I mentioned wanting to start a podcast, and people were like, how are you going to start a podcast? Like this. Here I am, filming a podcast. You can do whatever you want in this life, and don't let anybody else's closed mind stop you from doing that. I feel like my words are not making sense today, but I'm trying to be deep here. But yeah, you can literally do anything that you want. Your dreams can come true, and you can work towards that. And those people that say otherwise are just closed-minded, and they're just not going to get what they want in life because they don't believe that they can. Next thing, be delusional. And shout out to Gage. But of course, like, this is so real. Like, yes, be Delulu until your dreams come Trulu. Thank you. Like I said, I'm literally right here filming a podcast. I've always wanted to do this. I'm just here like, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to get to yap in front of the camera for fun, and people are going to watch, blah, blah, blah. And I've just always said that. And here I am doing it. Like, you can do whatever you want. I'm sure all of the people that we look up to were delusional at some point. Like, everybody had to start somewhere. And I feel like feeding your delusions is what kind of helps you get to the point to where your dreams can come true. And awkward. And that goes into the next one. Just being confident. So you need to be confident in yourself, what you're doing. Be confident in your passions in life. Confidence is just the most attractive thing to literally anybody. Like, you can walk into the room and you can tell, somebody can walk into the room and they can tell, oh, this person's pretty confident. Like, they have it like in their walk. Like, my dad growing up, my dad always had this walk and he would always talk about it, and other people would talk about it too. He just has this like kind of swagger when he walks. I don't know how to describe it, but he's the most confident man that I know. So I feel like that's kind of where I get my little bitty tiny ounce of confidence from. We're working on it. It's like here. We're going to go here. But yeah, just be confident in whatever you're doing. Who cares about what other people think? All of these tie in together, or at least they do for me. But yeah, just confidence is key. Being delusional is key. Those are all things that you need to be just to kind of make your dreams come true. Because at the end of the day, again, your life, your choices, your dreams, you do it. You make them come true. Next one. Travel. Oh my gosh, y'all. I just got back from Puerto Rico maybe a week and a half ago, and that was the best trip I've ever been on. And I've been to Puerto Rico before. I've also been to like the Bahamas, St. Martin, but this time in Puerto Rico, it just felt so different. Like, the culture there is just so amazing, and I feel like traveling, I learned more from traveling than I did in my 17 years of grade school and my 4 years of college. Like, just seeing other cultures and how other people live is just a really good way to just learn, not even about other people, but also about yourself. Because it's like, oh, could I thrive in this culture? I feel like I would thrive in Puerto Rico. I just need to learn Spanish. Once I learn Spanish, it's over with. I'm leaving. Bye. But I say that about everywhere that I go. Like, I really want to go to Europe next year. I feel like I'll say the same thing about Europe. So I just think you need to travel. You need to see the world. And that is just how you'll learn. You'll dive a little deeper into yourself, because it forces you to step out of your comfort zone of being at home around all the people and things that you know, and go into a foreign place. They might not even be speaking the same language as you, and you just kind of have to adapt to it. And I think that's the greatest way to learn. So I think you always need to do that. That's very necessary. Next one. Your gut is always right. Your intuition is always right. This is coming from me, queen overthinker. Every time I would overthink a situation, I was still right. I was just thinking about it a little too much, but I was still right. And yeah, if you ever have a weird feeling about something or someone, just go with that feeling, because 99% chance you were right. And my last thing that I learned in my 25 years, it's only up from here. I mean, I've learned all of these lessons, and I'm just kind of taking them with a little grain of salt, giving myself grace, going on from here. And life is full of lessons. So I'm just taking each little lesson, and I'm just kind of navigating through the chaos of my 20s, and I'm trying to find comfort in it. And again, I'm shouting out John Summit, because that is actually the love of my life. But yeah, we're just dealing with the chaos of our 20s, and it's just a little wave of emotions that I'm trying to ride. And it's really inconsistent, but you know, as long as you can find, I don't know, what's it called when like you're surfing and you're just like, find the wave or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Just find that wave and just ride it. Don't fall. You might fall, but just if you do, get right back on up. But yeah, those are 25 things that I learned in my 25 years of life. I feel like this episode wasn't as funny. It was a little more serious, but that's just kind of how I've been feeling lately. And it feels really good to get those little things off my chest, just because I'm just wondering, has anybody else learned these same things? Or like, as you guys get older, what are some key things that you guys have learned? I don't know. Life is just weird for everybody, especially right now. So we're just kind of dealing with it. But I feel like as we deal with it, we should just kind of, take these little things and just kind of hold them tight, give ourselves grace, and just be nice to everybody and just be grateful for the life that we live. But yeah, so that was another episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Next episode might be a little more feral because I'm starting to feel myself kind of start to, we're starting to thaw out from the little wellness portion. But that's one thing that I really like about this little podcast that I'm trying to build here. So 1 minute we're feral, next minute we're well, and we're gonna put those things together. We have feral wellness. Like I said, we are drinking a White Claw out of a mug, the little cutesy mug. And I just feel like, again, you have to find that balance in your life. And I feel like once you do that, you're chilling. Like, enjoy your 20s, have fun, enjoy your life. Not even just your 20s. Enjoy your life. Do what makes you happy. But also just find that balance. And again, we're going to do it together. So, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in.